Welcome back to another edition of the AUDL Take. The AUDL has talked about coming back around July, supposedly July 3rd being the date, but that hasn't really been a hard confirmation on that. Definitely, I think the AUDL wants to come forward. They want to have a season. There's plenty of players in the league that also want to get out there and start playing. But right now, there's been no official word, but start to look for something here in the next couple weeks, and we should be hearing something at the beginning of July, whether there will actually be a season, and if we're going to be doing that tournament-style approach or format that we saw and talked about in the last episode. But today's episode is actually talking a little bit about USAU and their guidelines to return to play, and how we kind of compared that to how the AUDL is approaching it. So the USAU actually canceled all of their events for the year in Ultimate. We basically don't have a 2020 season for a club, and USAU tried to establish new guidelines. They have kind of stages, and there's more that I'll put in the link here, probably on either side of me here, of the breakdown, but it's about a couple stages of getting back to what we're used to. But they also talk about new rule modifications, and actually the response from a lot of people on Twitter and Facebook about these rule modifications were pretty hilarious, and we'll kind of break over some of the ones that break down or go over some of the ones that I actually found pretty hilarious. You start to get into some more no person defense, so you basically are having to play zone. Some teams like to play zone, but I think there's a lot of people who love the one-on-one matchups and being able to do that, and it doesn't seem like USAU wants that to kind of go on at this moment. Like I said, these are all kind of guidelines. I'm not sure what actual modifications they would want to implement, but it's a pretty hilarious setup. We also have, we said, the no zone, no person. If you score a goal, you're not really supposed to go rush out and celebrate. Also, they're going to do set offense and set defense, so that basically people who are playing offense, they're playing offense the whole game. If you're playing defense, you're playing defense the whole game.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Which I think really takes away from that kind of role player, someone who can kind of play on both sides and kind of keep the teams going. A lot of teams in college as well, there's 1 to 3 players sometimes that can really play both ways, that can carry you through a game, so that kind of eliminates that. We also have a big issue with picks, because now with everybody kind of having to keep this distance, picks are going to be even easier to accidentally do, and they're going to be called out, and then there's going to be discussions of whether it really was a pick or not. Also, you can't even have any bids, so there's none of these chances of diving through somebody, and not that you're supposed to do that, but these close calls where someone bids, makes a great play, and there's a little bit of contact. If there's any contact at all, that will not go with these new guidelines. That's kind of what you see with WFDF, WFDF. They kind of have had that. There's really supposed to be no contact at all. USAU has always kind of had this, reasonable play. If it's a good play on the disc and it wasn't dangerous and there was some contact, as long as the play was clean, it's good. So I give them a lot of effort. I think USAU was trying really hard to appeal to their membership, to appeal to their big players, trying to put something on, but also not trying to go too fast and looking like an organization that cares more about trying to get exposure and money in than really caring about the safety of their players. That's where it brings us to the AUDL. I think the AUDL is in a different mindset. It's up to these owners and the players. If they think they can put on an event, I think they're going to be able to do it. And so that's where I'm coming from. I think we have to come to this moment now as we move back into this new normal. Are we going to allow people to take risks?
Oh, hell no!
If there are people who want to go and play in a sport, and the sport organizers and everyone involved feels it's worthy of a shot, maybe there is some risks, but we want to do it and everybody's all on board, I think we have to let these people make their own decisions. We'll see what really comes of it. I don't want to put people at an unnecessary risk, but at the same time, how long do we wait? Is there going to be a vaccine? Do we really know how long this will be? And for some people, sports is very important to them. It's their life. This is what they've been doing. If you look at professional sports, I've talked about this earlier, it's their access to a platform. Some of these great sports athletes also talk about big issues in our world, and they need that platform. So I think I'm personally a fan of the AUDL trying to come back and put something on. I understand the risks. I want to make sure that everybody who's a part of it is doing what they can to stay safe. But let me know what you think. Do you think it's cool that USAU has just shut down everything this year and they're going to wait, but they're also giving some guidelines? As hilarious as they may be, at least they're trying to find a way to get back to that kind of normalcy? Or do you like what the AUDL is doing and it's just saying, you know what, if teams are ready and owners, organizers, they want to put something on, I think we should let them. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for this episode of the AUDL Take. I will see you again next week.